Well, hello everyone. Southern Mamas Be Like is back again. And my favorite sidekick on Southern Mamas Be Like is also here as well. There she is. She's coming in. It's Miss Jane.
We've just had the best time interviewing these amazing women and their stories and their work that they're doing now and have done. I mean, I love this, Eva Marie. Thank you so much for gathering the troops.
We got Southern ladies, and today our Southern writer is none other than author Robin W. Pearson. Let's bring her in. There she is.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, darling.
Hello. Well, I want to tell the audience a little bit about you, and you sent us some wonderful bios, so forgive me. I am reading it because I don't want to mess it up. Robin W. Pearson's writing sprouts from her Southern roots, where she learned to sing Jesus Loves Me, how to make cornbread taste like pound cake. Oh, sister, let's talk later. And the all-purpose uses of Vaseline. I love it. I love it. Her family's faith, life lessons, and life's longings inspired her to write about God's love to us and how his love affects all our relationships. Yes, ma'am. This homeschooling mama of 7, stop it.
Go on.
Stop it, is the author of 5 novels, including the Christie Award winner, Long Time Comin, Till I Won't No More, Walking in Tall Weeds, Dysfunction Junction, and her latest, The Stories We Carry. You can visit Robin, and we'll have all this information up later, at robinwpearson.com. Or follow her at Robin W. Pearson on Instagram, BookBub, Goodreads, and Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us, Robin. But I have a question, and I know how it's going to be answered because I've already gotten a hint. How do you spell mama? M-A-M-A or M-O-M-M-A?
Well, it's the only way. M-A-M-A. Yes.
All right.
Or maybe I should say Q-U-E-E-N. No, just right.
Right. That's right. We like that, don't we, Jane?
Oh, my goodness. Well, you ahead of me now, Eva Marie, because I'm the M-O-M-M-A.
You're M-O-M-M-A.
Yes. Isn't that funny, though? Yeah.
So, Robin, do you have a short story about your mama or your grandmama or both, or anything you want to share that maybe is special to you?
Well, my grandma Vi, my dad's, we would go over and she always had like food waiting for you or something waiting for whoever came. Either she was reaching in, to her shirt and pulling out money out of her sock for you, or there was like fat back on the stove or a biscuit or something in the kitchen. And it was funny when my husband, we met in college, and I brought him over to meet my grandmother. My dad was there, and she kind of made an immediate judgment about him and knew he was going to be around. And this was our freshman year of college. And she's like, go to the kitchen and get yourself something to eat. And my dad, like the expression on his face was like, it was immediate frown, even though he secretly liked Eddie, but he's like, don't send that boy to the kitchen. He doesn't need to be, in your kitchen. But that was just the way she welcomed people. She loved them with food. She loved them just gave her whole heart. And so I've kind of continued that tradition. I like to love on people with my food or, just welcoming them into either my stories, just in that way, just loving on them as much as possible. So, yeah, I think that's what Southerners do. Southern mamas do, right? We feed you with everything that we have.
Yes. One of my fondest memories of my mother is that, my mother was part of that, they didn't work outside the home back in those days, unless, there was a must, like some nurses, et cetera, that kind of thing. But my mother was the quintessential homemaker, and other quintessential homemaker mamas would come over and they would sit at the kitchen table and have a cup of coffee. And I just thought that was the absolute ultimate high of being an adult woman, was that you got to have coffee with your friends, just sitting around the kitchen table. I thought it was wonderful.
Yeah.
So how did your Southern mama, your grandmama, how did their stories affect you as a writer?
Well, both of my grandmothers raised their children, like both had big families like I do, 7 children, but they raised them on their own. Their husbands, left them. And so my grandma, 5, started at a really young age. And just their perseverance, their faith, their faithfulness to their families, just into the community, that just set a standard for me. And just their stories that they would tell, and how they loved, like my father. He's such a strong man, and my mom, and seeing how they grew up and how they've continued to pour into us and still have their hands on us. I'm 54, but you would think I'm 12 with my mom, and asking, what time are you getting home, and don't be out late at night, and all those things. So just that their love, it impacted how we raise our own children, and how we view our marriage, and just hard work and all that, because both my parents had to work, but they were still very busy at school. My my teachers knew who they were. They would show up at any time. Like, I could look behind me and my dad would be sitting in the back of the class. They were just really involved and hands-on. So it's just how we are with our own. So it's great examples.
And
Yeah,
then,
I love that.
That's pour that into your writing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's like a legacy.
Stories, all the traditions, all the superstitions, all of it. It just really, I wanted to write them down for my kids so that they would know. And that's where my first story came from. Like, all of the things that I wrote down that, I wasn't planning to write a book. It was just, I wanted to make sure I remembered it so I could pass it down.
I love that. Well, speaking of that, the favorite expression or anything that you can recall that was special to you?
Well, it's funny. I don't know if you, as a Southern mother, but the laugh, like my grandma Hallie had this little chuckle. And so it's not really a saying, but it was how she laughed. And my mother will say that, we'll do that now. I just remember that growing up, even as she's saying no, it would just be this like, no, or no. She would sing the no, like no. And my friends, we lived in the North for a while, and my friend she always would point out to me, like, even as you're saying no, even as you're disciplining your kids, there's this like genteel way that you're, like hugging on them, and no, darling, no, you're not going there. Like, it's just a way of delivering a no that I think a Southern mama knows how to do. You still love them, but you're still staying home. So
I love that. I just love that. And something you said just a minute ago, I want to reflect back on, because Jane and I have talked about this before. Our Southern mamas were so full of faith, and yet at the same time, so full of superstitions that, I can remember one time my brother and I were lying on the floor watching TV, on our bellies, and I jumped up and stepped over him, and my mother just had a hissy fit. She's like, no, you can't do that.
Yes. I couldn't play cards at my grandma Vi's house. Like, we couldn't play any kind of cards, but then she watched all my children. Like, she watched all the soap operas and all that, you know what I mean? So it's just like the weird things you can't really explain that don't necessarily go together. But I couldn't watch Bewitched, there, like with Samantha Stevens, but I could watch Erica Kane on my children. So it's just,
yeah.
Well, I got a good one. My mother in the afternoon would read Bible stories to us, and then if we misbehaved, she'd say wordy dirds to us. Say, this is special. Just my mom even going along with the story.
When my mom cut our hair, like trimmed our hair, she kept the trimmings in the family Bible. Like, even now I have the family Bible, and you can find hair that was in there. That's what she would say, oh, it would help it to grow. So it's in the Bible. Like, yeah, it's just, I'm sure I'm full of stuff like that. You just can't explain it. You just,
no. And I loved, I took a photo one day and posted it on Facebook, and it was a beautiful, bright, sunshiny day, and the rain was pouring. And I said, every Southern girl knows what this means. And all these people started posting, the devil's beating his wife. The devil's beating his wife.
That's right.
And then the Northerners were like, what? For her to such. I didn't know he was married.
That's right.
That's so my goodness. Funny. Well, tell us a little bit about your what you're working on right now, or what you just had released, so that our listeners and viewers can find out more about it.
Well, I you can see it there. The stories we carry. It's getting released in October, And it's actually released on my parents' anniversary. They'll be married 63 years. So I'm really excited about that date. It's really special for a lot of reasons. And so that's what I'm talking about now. But when you think about all the, like we're talking about, the superstitions and the faith and all of our memories, those are part of the stories we carry, and they impact the decisions we make, how we, raise our kids, our writing, how we live. So it was kind of a tribute to them. Some of the things that you build on, but some of the things that can kind of hold you back that you need to grow from. So, yeah.
I love that. So I'm sure you dedicated it to them.
Actually, I dedicated it to my husband. But my very first book was dedicated to my parents because they bought me my first laptop. Like, they really have invested, in me. And when I wrote that book, 27 years ago, 8 years ago, they bought my first laptop so that I could, write with the baby and not be, hindered by having to stay at a computer all the time. And but all my stories, they come from them, and they know that. But yeah, this one's written. It's written from my husband. So,
yeah. It's good. Well, tell me, do you have any advice for writers?
Well, I'll just say stay true to your story. I had this 20+ year journey to getting that first book published. I wrote it in about 3 years, but another 20 years of learning about the industry and querying and all those things. And it was tempting to take out some of the Southern sayings. So there were things that, I would enter contests and people wouldn't understand what I what I meant, like what my character was saying, because it was a Southernism, and so
I understand.
yes, because that unfinished thread of, the character, Granny B would say, I bet you better. And then somebody would better what? I'm like, they know not to do whatever that thing is, Yeah. And so I had to kind of wrestle with the editor when I finally, got published, got a contract with Tyndale, and just staying true to the story I wanted to tell, the story that God gave me, and to know that readers would connect, because they're such truths that would connect over regions and generations and, black or white, or so I would just encourage, writers to stay true to the story you've been given, the story that you want to tell. Do your best to report it. Don't let, reviews affect you, or don't let applause affect you, but do the best that you can and just stay true to your story.
Well, have you ever written about your entire family? Is it 7 children?
Yes, 7. I've only written about my favorites.
Uh-oh.
I'll let them figure out now. Yeah, of course, your life impacts. For me, I'm a contemporary Southern fiction writer. So my life, you'll see it all throughout. This last book, I have so many different memories that will filter in and, filter out and all of that. So yeah, you'll see all of us, my husband, and different characters throughout. You can't help but write about them.
That's
I'm a homeschool mom, so who else am I going to write about?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Robin, that's amazing. Just
if they didn't live it, you'll make it up.
That's right.
But
make it better, make it worse,
That's right.
But when I hear you talk about advice about staying in your lane and massaging who you are, it's also about working hard and never giving up on your dreams, 20-year journey, and then getting signed with Tyndale. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm. It's a blessing. Yeah. It's hard. I probably gave up about 20 times, and then you pick it back up. I think all of us as authors do that, right? You just keep going. I've hopefully inspired, my peeps to do the same, to keep at it, to keep working at it, to keep honing your craft, to keep, improving, type through the tears kind of thing. But yeah, we would have, family prayers on Sundays, and I could read back in their journals and see how they've been, praying for me to get published and, praying for me to finish a book, or, but homeschooling has helped because I've been able to write during the day and write at night and just have a flexible schedule. So, yeah.
And one of the things I always say, Robin, is while you're in the waiting period, just do the next thing.
Yes.
You know what? There's always something to do. Don't
Yes.
just write something, send it out, and then just sit.
Sit and
There's
wait.
always something else to do, because if you
Yeah.
do get picked up, or when you do get picked up, they're going to want the next thing.
Right.
So be ready for
Right.
that.
Yeah.
There's always something to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
I used to think that real life was interrupting my writer life, but it's not. Like it's helping. Like everything that you're doing can either, inspires you, or it's just, or growing you, or growing your patience, or anything. So yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well,
That's just a beautiful, beautiful way to encourage people and to share your talent. Wow, what talent. Thank you, Robin. That's amazing.
Thank you.
yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We will have all of your contact information up at the screen. You can't see it right now, Robin, but trust me, Jane's going to get it up there. And we thank you so much for joining us.
God bless y'all.
God
Thank
bless
you, Robin.
as well.